This is part 2 of an ongoing story and was created by Bloodlines Productions and made possible by the Mondo crew. Show your support and catch up fully using the links below. North of West City. After stumbling into a rather grizzled Yamcha, the former bandit cheerfully asks Goten what brings him out this way. And the truth is, believe it or not, he was actually on his way to request Master Roshi train him, just like he did with his dad back in the day. He figures if he wants to be one of the best protectors of Earth, he may as well start from the beginning. When he spots the Turtle Hermit's signature shell, he wonders what Yamcha could be doing with such an iconic item. He wistfully thinks back to all the training he himself had undergone with the old master. He reveals it was actually he himself who gave it to him, after, well, not failing to read between the lines. Goten curiously inquires what happened to Master Roshi. But it's a heck of a story, and given training is what he seeks, Yamcha agrees to tell him all about it, if he agrees to a little spar. He figures that since he and Trunks are off doing their own training, he does have a little extra time on his hands. Though does Yamcha really think he'll be able to keep up with them? He was one of the halves that took on Majin Buu a few years back. His smile only growing wider, he tells the young warrior to power up to his limit. Rolling his eyes, Goten agrees, but only on the condition Yamcha doesn't complain if he gets hurt. Dashing behind him before he can even finish his sentence, he snarkily reiterates for his foe to power up. The Saiyan doesn't hesitate and lets loose a spike of energy to speed away, prompting him to question in bewilderment when he got so fast. Retrieving a badge from his gi, Yamcha chuckles that after helping out the Galactic Patrol to take out Moro's goons, he decided to stay on the force as a patrolman. He's been busting his tail taking down intergalactic baddies with Jocko. There are a lot of pretty tough guys out in space, so it was the perfect head start to get him back on his toes. And here Goten was this entire time thinking he was just slacking off.
Can't even think straight. Damn it! Full Bang Fist!
Pulling his attack at the last moment, Yamcha spares Goten the finishing blow as he falls back to his base form. He exclaims how crazy strong he's gotten. This is unbelievable. Everyone's going to be so impressed when they find out. Who has to give all the credit to Master Roshi? Without him, none of this would be possible, in more ways than one. Bringing us back to exactly why he has that turtle shell. A few years back, after Moro's assault on the Earth, Yamcha realized that he needed to catch up to the others, in case Goku or Vegeta weren't around for one reason or another. While he still had quite a way to go to even catch up to Krillin or Tien, he knew he had to get started somewhere. So he went back to the Hermit for training after hearing how well he performed in the Tournament of Power. Not only that, but already being familiar with his style, it would likely be an easier fit to get back into the groove of things. Upon first arriving on the island, he and Jocko were chilling, more or less. Then after a few days of classic Roshi training, he sent him on a mission to acquire some mystical thing called a Cayenne Crystal. He didn't explain what it was or what it could do. Yamcha assumed it could be something like Korin's sacred water, where the real prize was a strength gained along the way. Or at least until the real sacred water via the Ultra Divine Water was revealed. But a Cayenne Crystal? Goten's never heard of this before. Given it seems a bunch of the secrets of this world are long gone, was it even on Earth? Unfortunately, it wasn't. It was located on a planet called Doro. Funny enough, Jocko knew exactly where this world was. And with the ship, it didn't take long at all to get there. On their way, just as they began orbiting the planet trying to figure out the right stop to touch down, Jocko wasn't paying attention and a comet crashed into him. They didn't know it yet, but this would turn out to be a huge mistake on their part, even worse than it already sounds. They crash-landed and were immediately met by some of the native inhabitants. They were mouse-like creatures about the size of Chaozu. Long story short, they had a tower similar to Corrin's, only theirs went underground instead of into the sky. Naturally, the question was raised how the Wolfang fighter was able to get inside. As tough as he's heard climbing the tower on Earth was for everyone, even as simple as it may seem now, he can't imagine doing the exact opposite with tons of dirt in the way. Alas, he did the only thing he could do. He started to dig. Lots of digging. But the hole kept falling in on itself. No matter how much rocks or dirt or everything in between he was able to move out of his way, all of his progress kept getting erased. After trying a few different methods, he used his Wolfang fist and was finally able to get inside the lookout. And then he met someone who looked an awful lot like Mr. Popo. He challenged Yamcha to test if he was worthy of meeting the planet's guardian. Of course, he was able to beat him. But upon doing so, somehow an evil being named Sime or something came out of nowhere. When, believe it or not, the planet's guardian himself actually showed up. He looked a lot different than Dende though. He wasn't a Namekian at all, but some kind of fish creature. His name was Mignon, and he explained that when Jaco and him crashed into that comet, Sasami was released. Long ago, this evil guy was after the crystal, but they were able to freeze him within a personal prison and launch it into orbit. Small world, huh? To repay them for this mistake, Yamcha made a promise that he himself would destroy Sasami or whoever, leaving Goten to wonder if he's able to follow through and get the crystal for himself. And the truth is, after his last battle, this guy really pushed him to his limits. He used almost all of his energy, and to be fair, the villain almost got the best of him. But he underestimated Yamcha. And in the end, his own arrogance did him in. He blasted him with everything he had left and annihilated him. So then he went back to Earth to give the crystal to Master Roshi, right? Which is right. He went back to Earth, a little reluctant to continue his story. Goten eggs him on. What happened when he got back? After returning to Earth, he immediately went back to Kame House. There, Roshi was waiting for him. He said something about having lived a long time, and it was time for him to move on. He was tired. He had done everything he could for the people he cares about. And it was Yamcha's turn to lead the Turtle School. They both placed their hands on the crystal. Master Roshi then started to glow and his whole body was vibrating. He felt his ki rushing around him. Then it began swirling and circling around him. As he took a step back, the crystal vaporized right before his eyes. The old master told the one-time bandit he has faith in him before his body slowly turned to dust, mere speckles of energy. A gust of wind swept through the entire island, clearing the fog that had gathered during this ritual. It was at that moment, Master Roshi's ki disappeared, as if it were spread far across the earth. Perhaps this was the only way Roshi could truly return to the earth after drinking from the Fountain of Youth. With his most iconic possessions placed aside his home, Yamcha thanked his master for everything, promising to make him proud. Their school will not fade away. He felt his ki vanish. His entire body vaporized. He tells Goten, Master Roshi is gone. And everything, his entire legacy, somehow rests on his own shoulders now. Causing Goten to shout that it must be Yamcha who trains him instead. Teach him the ways of the Turtle School. He promises not to let him down. This declaration warms Yamcha's heart, thinking back to the select students of the school he has known in his lifetime. If that's what Goten wants, he's ready to do this. Having a moment of his father's innocence, the new student questions if he needs to give particular magazines to Yamcha in return, causing the new teacher to balk why he'd need to do that, which is simply what he heard Master Roshi would always ask for. And while he's not wrong, Yamcha seems to think maybe it's okay for a couple little things about the Turtle School to be retired. With Yamcha taking up the helm as the new Turtle Master, what will his own unique style and recent power boost bring to the table to help improve our young hero? Also, does Master Roshi still live on another world, or is he truly gone forever?